All right, good evening. It is 6:04 and I'm calling the Community Relations meeting of the Greenfield City Council to order. This meeting is being recorded by the Community Relations Committee. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. So welcome, everybody. Our first order of business is a roll call. And do I see any counselors remote? If no one is remote, then we can just do it as voice. So.
Are you allowed to host without a quorum?
I'm all set. I'm one of
Oh,
them.
you're here. Fine.
I'm just kind of letting people into the room. I'll come up there when we can. I'm here.
We don't have four, so we don't have quorum.
Yeah.
Wait, let me just.
You get five is not a quorum.
Why did I think four was a quorum? I'm going with three for now, because it's out of five, so that's more than half, so that is gonna be a quorum. All right, so, roll call of members, Counselor Brown.
Here.
Counselor Gilmore, not here. Counselor Minhas. Counselor Perry.
Here.
I am here, okay. All right, and then I'm just seeing. All right, so, don't see minutes, so if we don't have minutes, then, we will not go to minutes, so, or no, I do have minutes, okay. So
That's
next-
last month's meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Next order of business is approval of the minutes. All in favor, say aye. Okay, anyone opposed? Abstains? Okay, so the minutes are approved. So, I'm gonna move to public comment. So thank you, everybody, for showing up both online and in person. We have a sign-in sheet going around, so if you want to make public comment, please sign up. And if you are in Zoom land, just put your name in the chat, and that way we'll call on you as we can. As a reminder, each person is going to have 3 minutes, and you just have to state your name and address for the public record. And wait, could you turn on the camera? Can they see us? So,
It's on behind you. There's a,
oh, okay, now I can see
We
it.
can see you.
Okay, great.
I don't think chat is operative, so people will have to put a raise a hand on the screen if they want to speak.
Okay.
I don't see chat here. Oh, wait, here it is. Got it.
This is our first rodeo at the fire station, so learning out.
I went to the wrong location, sorry.
So I'm just trying to decide where's the best place for public to also see. So I think coming up to just this front row of chairs, if that's comfortable with folks to come up, and don't be anxious about it. So I'm gonna grab the public comment sign-in sheet and then just call folks when they're ready. Oh. Thank you so much.
There's a format.
All right, so the first person up I have on the list is Robin.
I see my full name and
Yes, please.
address.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Robin Whitcomb. I use she, her pronouns, and I live on Country Club Road in Greenfield. I was born and raised in this great city of Greenfield. I left for a few years, but decided to move back to raise a family and join my parents' business here in town, which I now own. One of the most important factors to making the move back to my hometown was that I knew that Greenfield was a place of inclusivity, a place where all people belong and can feel safe. Making Greenfield a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse persons would fortify that sense of belonging and safety for our neighbors, friends, and loved ones. As a business owner and longtime resident of Greenfield, I fully support this resolution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Little time to spare. All right, so the next person on my list is Sarah.
I do not have anything written, as I was unsure if I was going to speak. My name is Sarah DiCamerato. I live on Silver Street. And a lot of the personal stories that I could share, I am refraining from because they are personal and shared with other people without compromising their identity or what they feel comfortable with. But speaking of being comfortable, you might notice I have a strong Rhode Island accent. I have lived in Rhode Island for 47 years. And 2 years ago, when I had a household member cry saying, I can't live here anymore in our town, where can we go that's safe? For a couple of years, we explored from Holyoke to Sunderland to Amherst to Northampton to Greenfield, staying in Airbnbs and short-term rentals. And the Hampton Inn was one of our favorite hotels. And we wanted to find that right spot for our household to live. We attended your June 2023 Pride Parade and to see preschoolers and elementary schools march with happiness and without judgment and just feeling joyful and inclusive. I was writing down the banks that walked by and I couldn't keep up, like which bank would have my business. I became a homeowner on Silver Street in 2024, February 2024. So you became my sanctuary place before. You became my sanctuary place before this. I will say that for a year almost, we walked around with our shoulders back and very comfortable and happy and taken in. My accountant is 10 minutes walk away from me. My dentist is a 9-minute walk from me. I bought my car on Federal Street. Since November, my household is staying inside more. They're uncertain, they're questioning, is this the right place that we chose to be and be comfortable? I feel like we are. I know that there are some people that are going to disagree, but I just ask of you to please be that place that my family really saw. I left my mother, my sister, my spouse to move here for safety of my household. So I just ask you guys to uphold that, no matter how strong some of the other voices will be.
Thank you. Next I have on the list is Max.
Okay. Hi, my name is Max Webb. I live on Elm Street in Greenfield. The reason we're here today is because there's a threat to trans rights in this country. In the big picture, this means there's a threat to human rights. My name is Max, and I'm a trans person from Texas. I'm a childcare provider and someone who cares about community and social justice. I know what it's like to have to jump through hoops to be myself, and while there are a whole lot less hoops living in Greenfield, they still exist. In January, I made an appointment to update my gender marker on my license. I changed it from X back to F for female to match my birth certificate, passport, and legal documents. My suspicions were proven correct when I learned that conservative states are using mismatching gender markers and photos to dehumanize and subsequently question the citizenship of said non-persons. Unrelated, Trump wants to send citizens who he deems criminal to El Salvador. I was unaware I would have to update my picture when I updated my gender marker, which now shows me with facial hair. I have had many heated debates with friends on whether it is safe for me to have facial hair in my legal ID. I have chosen not to legally change my name because I fear it will complicate my rights and flag me as a target, as we have seen happen to so many folks already. As a trans Texas native, I fear that I won't ever really be able to escape surveillance. This means that I have to out myself multiple times a week. When I use my debit card at Big Y, when I go to the doctor, when I talk to my bank, when I pick up my prescriptions, when I call my senators, or when I call Sandra to get an oil refill. The list doesn't end. My legal name is Madeline. My legal bathroom is the women's. I come to you knowing that my community needs more protections despite the protections Massachusetts already provides us. If we are to rely on the judicial system to check the executive, I want as many roadblocks as possible. I want protection from my doctor who prescribes my gender affirming care and parents who invest in their child's gender affirming care, medical or not. This past winter, I took my license to carry class because I'm interested in hunting. I want to feel at ease going into the police department to have my interview, despite my gender presentation not matching my documents. I have that right. I want to know that the police understand our fear and the choices we have to make daily to keep ourselves safe. I want them to understand that while our relationship to each other is complicated, it is you who society expects us to uphold the law, and so it is our right to be able to trust you. I support this resolution as a starting point for Greenfield's residents and officials to discuss what protections our community wants and needs out of this upcoming ordinance. I think it is imperative to have trans and gender diverse people sitting at the table as you discuss these measures, and that you listen to their fears and ideas. This is an ordinance for our safety, and we need to have a hand and a voice in that it is heard and respected, or else this is just optics. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Casey next.
Someone else just showed up to speak to it. I don't know if they can right there.
Did you want to speak?
If you did.
Engine 3, respond to outside fires at 134 Wells Street.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry, that's my street. My name is Casey Dean. I've been a Greenfield resident since 2019 and I live on Wells Street. And I've been engaged in LGBTQ community events since that year. I found incredible community and support here while growing comfortable with myself, even just as a bisexual woman. I've watched the city's support grow for Pride. The number of people who turn out for Pride events, move here and look for community grow each year. I support this because we are seeing transgender and gender diverse people being targeted by federal and state actors in an inhumane way, and standing aside and not taking a stance is not an option. I see Greenfield supporting Pride, and this is an obvious and necessary additional stance and protection to take to protect its residents.
Thank you. Counselor Perry, do we have anybody in the Zoom? I'll take.
Yes, Emily Bork and Indigo Goodry.
So let's, Emily, if you want to unmute yourself and you've got 3 minutes, name and where you live.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Emily Bork. I live on Franklin Street here in Greenfield. I want to express my full support of designating our city as a sanctuary for transgendered folks. Transgender people are part of our community. They're members of our community. Some of the best people in my life are trans and have changed my life for the better. They belong here. They deserve to live with the assurance that they are seen, valued, and protected. In today's political climate, transgender folks are being unfairly targeted and used as scapegoats, which is horrifying considering the fact that they make up 1% of the population. It makes it even more crucial for us to step up and take a stand for inclusion, dignity, and safety. By becoming a sanctuary city, Greenfield has the opportunity to lead with compassion and courage, and I urge everyone to do the right thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next I have Indigo. So you can unmute yourself.
Indigo Gidry, they, them pronouns. I'm at 92 Peabody Lane, Greenfield, Massachusetts. And I am in deep support of this resolution and furthermore would like it to progress to an ordinance in order to enshrine trans and genderqueer rights in Greenfield, where I live. The people I love most in this world are trans, including myself, and I didn't choose that, and neither did they. It's just something that is deeply true about us, despite the fact that it makes us targets in the USA at this time. In many other countries, some people get killed, executed in other countries for being trans. And luckily, that's not the case in the USA. And as y'all know, the current regime, Trump Vance Musk regime, has trans people as one of their chosen scapegoats. And so I think it's really important to be outwardly visible in this time where there's so much visible violence and attacking of trans people's right to simply exist and be ourselves. I think it's of utmost importance to project a different energy, a different message, and to show that there are some of us, some places where trans people are still fully human and where we can still be safe. So yes, please pass the resolution and move it forward to an ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's two more, Councilor Lewandowski,
All right,
River Matos and Hannah Longy.
great. River, you're up next. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is River. I use they, them pronouns, and I live on Prairie Drive in Greenfield. I'm here to speak in support of the resolution to make Greenfield a sanctuary city for trans and gender diverse people. Greenfield has already shown its commitment to justice. In 2017, we passed a resolution supporting immigrants and refugees. Our schools have adopted gender inclusive policies, and Franklin County Pride and Trans Day of Visibility events show that this community cares. These are not just symbolic gestures or events. They are the cornerstones of a community that refuses to be silent in the face of hate or discrimination. Across the country, we're seeing a flood of anti-trans legislation. Over 500 bills have been introduced nationwide, trying to erase our rights, our dignity, and in some cases, our very existence. These attacks aren't abstract, and the message being sent is chilling, that we don't belong, that we're not valid human beings, and that we shouldn't exist. But Greenfield has the power to send a different message, one of safety, inclusion, and belonging. By becoming a sanctuary city, we can affirm that trans and gender diverse people are welcome, protected, and valued here. We can tell our gender diverse youth that they are not alone. We can tell our trans adults that they can live and thrive here without fear. And we can tell those who seek to harm us, whether through violence or policy, that Greenfield stands with its people, not against them. I was heartbroken to hear someone speak earlier about how they had to change their gender marker on their documentation. I currently have X on my license, and I can't tell you how many times I've cried with my partner while discussing whether it's safe for me to keep it or if I need to change it back to my assigned gender at birth. Declaring Greenfield a sanctuary city for trans and gender diverse people shouldn't be about politics, and it shouldn't be about optics. It should be about people. Our neighbors, our coworkers, our family members are all people who deserve to feel safe. Thank you for allowing us to speak on this, and I hope our city does the right thing.
Thank you. Next is Hannah.
Hello, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much for confirming. My name is Hannah Longy. I am a resident of Greenfield. I live on Hope Street. And not only am I a gender nonconforming or transgender person living in Greenfield, but I'm also a member of the medical establishment here in town, and I work with the public. And I can say from the perspective myself as a trans person and from the perspective of the people that I'm talking to about these things every day that it's a very, very scary world out there for all of us right now. And I know personally that Greenfield has been my home for the better part of the last 30 years, and I have felt safer here than in many places that I have been. And having a sanctuary city status would mean so much to those of us who live here, who already feel more at home in our community and know that our community is safer here than it is in most of the United States, and as other people said here, most of the world right now. And I think it's really important that we move forward, and we would, I know I personally would appreciate your vote to move this forward to an ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
That seems to be it, Counselor.
Thank you. So we'll move back to the in-room folks. I've got Devin next. Hi.
My name is Devin Castillo. I live on Union Street. I have to say that in the current political climate, it feels scary just to put my name on the record. I grew up in the South at a time and place where being different was not just difficult, but could be downright dangerous. While I was in high school, 2 of my friends were physically assaulted just for being gay, and nothing was done about it. Regardless of what you believe about the end goals of the Trump administration and Project 2025, their words and actions are absolutely emboldening to bigots, stripping away trans rights and pardoning criminals who hurt people they don't agree with tells them that we aren't on equal footing and that they can get away with hurting us. I support passing the sanctuary city measure, especially if it can be implemented not just as a resolution, but as an ordinance with legal teeth. Taking an official stance to support our rights is important, and it does make a difference. Thank you.
I'm gonna say it wrong, Arjuna.
So yes, Arjuna Bryce, yes, you got it right. I'm on Solar Way. I helped to sort of edit and format the resolution that we sent in. And most people here have already said most of the reasons. I feel it's really important in the current culture with the national things being the way they are, that really we need to protect each other on a local level. And that, knowing our neighbors, seeing our neighbors, seeing people for who they are and saying, yes, everyone is welcome, everyone is valued, and the messages coming from the top are not the messages that we want to project. And the more towns and cities that do this, the more that ripple effect goes out. And so we would be joining many towns and cities across, and we'd be inspiring more. So the more people act, the more we say, this is important, we want to protect everyone, healthcare is important, trans kids in schools rights are important, and then another town can say, oh, say, look, Greenfield did it.
All right, I have Tristan next.
Well, everyone has said pretty much everything I wanted to say. So ditto, everyone.
You repeat your name and.
I'm Tristan Greist and I live on Solar Way, number 73. And what I wanted to talk about is what it means to be a sanctuary city, because it's more than just keeping the people already here safe, which is incredibly important. But it also puts the message out on the national and international level that we are a safe refuge where people can come. And right now, people are running from incredibly dangerous states. There is talk that Texas may actually create trans concentration camps, and that there's already a bill in the Texas legislature to make the fact of being trans illegal. And they're creating a register for trans people. 25 states have made it impossible for trans young people to access transgender affirming medical care. This is a problem and people are running. My family goes to a camp in New Hampshire, I can't disclose the name, every summer for trans children. And we hear other trans families raising trans children talking about how desperately hard it is in their states and how they want to move and how they're looking for a refuge so they can raise their children in safety. And I am hoping that Greenfield can be one of those places of refuge, because in truth, it truly is. I came out as trans and transitioned when I was 44. I'm 60 now. My workplace was very scary. I honestly thought I would lose my life. I was being persecuted by my coworkers and my boss. The upper echelon fired everyone but me and protected me and made sure I had a safe workplace while I transitioned. That is Greenfield. When I went to Bay State Franklin and told them that I was transitioning, doctors and medical technicians I didn't even know came into the room to congratulate me and wish me luck. That is Greenfield. My child is gender nonconforming. They have been completely supported throughout all the steps of their changes by all of their teachers. They have many friends. That is Greenfield. And that is the environment that trans families, trans children deserve. Now, in terms of the ordinance, now I read the draft ordinance. It seems to be an ordinance to protect our access to gender affirming care. And that is crucial. Young people who do not have access, young people who do have access to gender affirming care when they need it have a 73% reduction in suicide ideation. That is so important. That is why Greenfield needs this. And that's why I hope you pass this resolution. And later on this summer, I hope you pass at least one ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, the last person I have on the list is Zimri.
Zimri wants to pass, or do you want to speak, Zim? Zim wants to pass.
Fine. Was there anybody else who isn't on the list who wants to speak? Right. So, it's 6:32 and I'm closing the public comment period. Unless there's anybody online, but I think we got everybody. Counselor Perry, do you want to come back
Yes,
up?
I am.
Front? You don't have to be back in the corner relegated.
Oh.
But
Just let us know if you see someone saying meeting so we can go let them in, but.
All right. So on the official part of it, and then we'll comment, is there a motion to approve the trans safe city resolution?
I think.
Oh, you got it.
No, you guys make it, I'll second.
Okay.
I'll second.
Great, so now we can have discussion. So first, I just want to thank everybody for coming and telling your stories. They're both like heart-wrenching and hopeful. You know, I'm proud that this is a place where people do feel safe and comfortable and that we can be that community. I think that, you know, the organization I work for in my day job has been running a drag bingo for the last 3 years. And I was just talking to one of my coworkers today, and it's the first time that we've gotten a lot of hateful comments on our like Facebook ads, which we haven't in the past. So I told like we're in a, and these are just people here in the valley, and we think of like the happy valley and everything all's good, right? And I'm not like naive enough to think it's all good, but people are emboldened to come out of their shells and say stuff, and that's really, so I appreciate you all putting your names down, because I know that that also feels scary, so thank you. Really, thank you. So, counselors.
Well, it's kind of interesting that we're meeting here at the fire station, because the Human Rights Commission is meeting on the second a Monday of the month there at City Hall. But we could have just easily had a combined meeting with them and us, because to me, this is just a human rights issue. And I know people have political issues with it. I know people have religious issues with this stuff, but to me, that's irrelevant. It's human rights. And on Thursday, the Human Rights Commission gave out their award they gave out their Human Rights Award, and I was there listening, and several people from town high up made outstanding speeches in support of equality and what human rights is. So you do have we have the backing of people in positions, and that should make us feel confident that we have the backing, the support of people who can make a difference in our community. So I'm here to support this, no questions asked. You know, I'm gonna get a little bit of pushback from my religious community. I'm gonna get a little bit of pushback from some of my political friends, but it's worth the price. It's worth the price, because human rights is above everything else. So that's why I support it wholeheartedly. I thank you for taking the time to do that and start the ball rolling.
Brown?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything?
not much to add, just super appreciative for everyone being here and bringing forward this resolution. And just, we want to do more. So like, tell us what you want and we can try to do it. And even just, I know we're thinking about making the ordinances gender neutral, and even on the website, there's like on the Public Safety Commission, it was saying like men or women, and then just today, Matt Conway updated that to just say individuals. So I think that we are trying to do the right thing, and I appreciate folks seeking out, and it is vulnerable, so thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good comment. So, so today we're talking about a resolution. Now I'm thinking of the Beatles song.
And Tracy Chapman.
Yes, all of it. And we will also work on an ordinance separate. So the ordinance will then be able to be in our code and protect gender affirming care, people from this community and people from outside of this community. And you know, I heard the comments about the police, and we've been talking to the chief, who is fully in support of both the resolution and the ordinance, has made some good comments, and has also just shared that this is already the practice of the Greenfield Police Department, that they are supporting trans rights, that they, you know, the chief is like, look, there's HIPAA, so we can't, like, we're not gonna go after people, like there's rules and we follow them, and we've also instructed all of our officers. And what I've talked to him about is we aren't always gonna have you as a chief, so we also want to make sure that these practices are part of our standard and how we treat folks. So that's really important. So after we tackle the resolution, and that gets, and I'm gonna encourage both the recorder and also you all to like share this widely so that people know, because otherwise, you know, a resolution, I think the last words on the resolution are that it's gonna go to the recorder, it's gonna go to the mayor, different officials, but also want to make sure that people who need to know that we're a safe city know that. Because that's going to be important for keeping people safe. So, councilors, do we have any changes, proposed changes to the resolution?
Well, so do you have any, or is that just your notes and stuff?
Oh, this is the ordinance. that I brought
Oh, that's the
along, so
ordinance, okay.
That is a work in progress.
Okay.
That definitely had some changes, but
No, there was a few typos that were caught and corrected, and
Okay.
the few changes that I suggested in the draft mode were made. Just to kind of alleviate and help our friends who have issues with some of the language, sanctuary versus safe. I thought that was, important enough to make a compromise on that. And there was also a political statement in there that people took offense to, and I didn't have a problem taking that out either. I'm all for a compromise and a consensus building on these issues. It doesn't have to be either or. We can be in the middle and get people to, understand. And I hope people who are listening in heard the stories, because it's one thing to, be on Facebook and have your opinions, but when you hear the stories, real life people talking about what they have to go through, that should make people think long and hard about what their personal values are when it comes to human rights and treating all people equally.
Absolutely. And as Councilor Brown said, every 5 years, we go through all of our ordinances and do a review. So that's allowing us to make sure that we move gender neutral language throughout our code in Greenfield at this time. So we can do it all in one fell swoop, which is great. So we don't have to go like by code, which would be a lot. So let's vote on this. So we're going to vote on whether or not to recommend it for passage by the full council. So all in favor indicate aye.
Oh, okay.
Twist. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, so we will be recommending, yay. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for bringing it forward. And my only comment was when I saw that Pittsfield had passed and I was like, Pittsfield BS. And like this, literally that same weekend, I was like pulling up resolution language and then got the email from Tristan. So it was like kismet, perfect timing that is coming together. So it's important. And we want to live into our values as a city, so get everybody turning out, so.
And I just be patient on Wednesday, because the conversation will probably be a little bit different. It won't be quite as touchy-feely as we are, but people are gonna want to talk about it, and they have every right to talk about it.
If we can get it passed in April so that we can read it at Franklin Pride, that's the dream. If we wanna read
So
it from
this
the
is why
stage.
I think we can have it done this month, so.
Question. Could you lay out like the road ahead for the ordinance and how the community can be more involved?
Yes, so.
Point of order. It's not
sorry,
on
we
the
don't-
agenda.
It's just a junk question.
How do we find out information about what Wednesday would be like, what Wednesday is like?
So our agenda is on the town's website, and so you can look at the full council agenda, and that'll give you a sense of the order and what we're taking up. We are entering into budget season, which is what kind of slows things down. So I will keep to our agenda at hand. And just for the public, you can't do point of order, only counselors can do point of order. Thank you.
That is
Um,
incorrect. You need a parliamentarian that is not in conjunction with Robert's Rules of Order.
Can you mute, please? Thank you. So before we adjourn, I just want to go into old business, which old business is part of agendas. So we talked about having precinct meetings, and I've subsequently learned that we have to mail a postcard to every single person in Greenfield to make this happen and give it our budget challenges. We're not going to be able to do that. So we'll have another conversation about how this committee can have more community engagement that isn't the official in our ordinances and has to be done with a postcard from the mayor.
And maybe an ordinance to change.
Yes, which we also mentioned in public relations. And then under new business, just wanted to ask my fellow counselors on this committee if there are future topics we should be for future discussions.
Not sure, I can email you.
Okay, yeah. So Counselor Perry and then my other counselors who aren't here will go over if there are other people we want to invite to speak to community relations as well as future conversations. I know the ordinance will be possibly either this committee or appointments and ordinances. So it could go either way for sure. Since they're doing all of the ordinance review for the city, that's why it came to this committee. Okay, so it is 6:45 and I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second from
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're under adjournment.